The Dodgers barely dodged a sweep in San Diego. Should we be worried after what we saw this week against the Rockies and Padres?
You are Locked On Dodgers, your daily Los Angeles Dodgers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It's time for Locked On Dodgers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. The Dodgers looked like a mess on Friday and Saturday, but just when it felt like the Padres might be setting up a sweep in San Diego, LA finally punched back on Sunday to avoid going down 2 games in the NL West. It wasn't pretty, but it was necessary because dropping 3 straight would have been an even worse nightmare. Will Smith is slumping bad, and with every game left being big for the boys in blue, they host a team who is fighting to get into a playoff spot. I'm talking all about it in today's episode, which is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 to any golf tournament in the USA. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Masters tournament. Ends October 31st, 2025. I'm Harry Ruiz, Spanish radio play-by-play broadcaster for the Las Vegas Raiders and the USC Football Trojans, a native Angelino with nearly 2 decades of experience working in sports media, and I bleed Dodger Blue for life. You can follow me on X at Harry Ruiz, on Instagram at Harry_Ruiz, and on TikTok at Harry Ruiz_. I'm having a blast jumping on the mic every weekday to dive deep into what I love most, talking Dodger baseball with you. And I want you to be a part of our show. Hit us up on the Locked On Dodgers listener line, 279-3-LOCKED or 279-356-2533. You can either leave us a voicemail or a text and you might be featured in our show. So, first up, the Dodgers. They managed to escape San Diego without being swept. For most of the 27 innings played, it was ugly for LA. The hitters who carried this team during long stretches when you had a lot of injuries for the starting pitchers and the bullpen, well, those hitters were mostly silent in this very inconvenient time when they could have padded their lead in the NL West during the weekdays against the Rockies. They ended up tying that series 2-2. Then they go over to San Diego. They lose the first 2 games. With the first one, they saw their divisional lead disappear, tied. And then with the second one, they were down by 1 game. They were at risk of being swept. Fortunately, that didn't happen. But with just 5 weeks left in the season, the Dodgers still find themselves at the top of the NL West, albeit tied with the Padres. But there's more questions than answers regarding them at the moment. Take this week as an example. They lost 4 out of 7 games between Monday and Sunday. If it were a postseason series, their goal of winning back-to-back World Series would be done. Finito. Over. Because you lose 4 out of 7, you're out of the playoffs. Against San Diego this weekend, the Dodgers, they struggled mightily to string hits together. Those first 2 games were a nightmare to watch. It was like pulling teeth. On Friday against Yu Darvish, they were only able to get 1 hit and 1 run off of an Alex Freeland home run in the 3rd, plus they drew a walk. 2 base runners against Yu Darvish. They were able to get 2 more base runners in the 8th against Mason Miller and 2 versus Robert Suarez in the 9th, but the Dodgers lost 2-1. The bullpen is supposed to be the most difficult part of the pitching staff for the San Diego Padres, and the Dodgers were able to get on base with hits and with walks, but then they weren't able to bring players to home plate besides that home run earlier in the game from the rookie Alex Freeland. And if we go back last week when the Dodgers played the Padres at Dodger Stadium at Chavez Ravine, they were able to get to Yu Darvish early in the game with a couple of home runs, but then Darvish was solid as hell the rest of the way. He's a difficult pitcher. He's a hard guy to get to. And if we go back to even before when he arrived to the Dodgers, when he pitched for them in the World Series in 2017, he has been a really good pitcher for over a decade now in Major League Baseball. And you know that he's going to step it up in this kind of scenario. But one run? Well, guess what? To make matters worse, it was a replay on Saturday. But this time, only 2 hits Once again, it was Alex Freeland, pinch hit solo home run that scored the only Dodgers run. And incredibly, they made Nestor Cortez, the guy that it will always be at Dodgers fans' minds as giving up the grand slam on one pitch to Freddie Freeman in the World Series in 2024, Game 1, Dodger Stadium, extra innings, bases loaded, Freddie Freeman. Boom. He was hurt. He was injured. He still got a home run off of Nestor Cortez when he was with the Giants. Well, now he's with the Padres. And the Dodgers made him look like a Cy Young contender. He retired the first 16 batters that he faced until Miguel Rojas got a single to break his perfect game in the 6th inning. He got into the 6th inning with a perfect game. What the hell are we doing, Dodgers? Miggy was the only base runner that the Dodgers had all night long because Alex Freeland, boom, bomb. He went around the bases. He didn't have to wait to manufacture a run, to move to second, to move to third, to go home. No, he himself took care of business. Miggy, on the other hand, he got on base, and that was it. Only base runner all night long for the Dodgers. Not a walk drawn in that game, not a man getting into scoring position against San Diego as the Padres ended up winning 5-1. That game, my God, I was broadcasting the Raiders game at that time, and I had my phone on the side, and I was like, man, I'm not missing much. Besides the Dodgers striking out, besides the Dodgers not being able to hit off of Nestor Cortez, it was definitely a very hard game to watch as a Dodgers fan. And in that game, Tyler Glasnow, he didn't look sharp, except in the first 2 innings, but he was in the game for a total of 4 innings, 2 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 walks, but honestly, it didn't matter. With Alex Freeland being responsible for the lone Dodger run both on Friday and on Saturday, the Dodgers would have needed a shutout both nights from their hurdlers to win those games. I can't believe how the Dodgers batters didn't make any adjustments with the way that Darvish and that Cortez pitched. They just looked like minor leaguers making their big league debuts against top-of-the-line pitchers. And Darvish, I'll give it to him. But Cortez, though? Come on, man. You have to be able to change your approach to the way that the pitchers are throwing at you. But instead, the Padres, they carved them up real nice, Scarface style. Take what the pitcher gives you. Make something happen. Be patient. Between the 4 losses this week, the Dodgers averaged 2 runs in those games. Even when the pitching was holding on for their own, you start to wonder, can they sustain the momentum in the offense if the offense doesn't wake up anytime soon? Starting pitching has been mostly good. But right now, with the way that the team is playing, they're practically demanding perfection. And you know that won't be happening. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, go over to Sunday. The Dodgers were winning 1-0. Yoshi gave up a 2-run home run. And you go into the 7th inning losing 2-1 and be like, well, Yoshi did a good job. You'll take that from a starting pitcher. 2 runs in 6 innings, that's a quality start. But your batters, up to that point, only 1 run scored. And I mean, you go back to the beginning of that game, the Dodgers had the bases loaded. No outs on Sunday in the first inning. Teoscar Hernandez, great solid contact, but Ramon Laureano steals him of a grand slam. The Dodgers score 1, but you were like, okay, well, let's have something else happen here. Nope. 2 outs in a row, only 1 run scored by the Dodgers, and you end up going into the rest of the game thinking, man, is that going to bite us in the behind that we weren't able to get more runs in that part of the game? Fortunately, that wasn't the case. The Dodgers ended up winning 8-2, but even then, they had 1 hit through 5 innings. 1 hit through 5 innings. I mean, honestly, what is going on with the boys in blue? But then the home runs came. And you know that this team is very home run dependent. Freddie Freeman tied it up with a solo bomb in the 6th. Dalton Rushing, with the biggest moment so far in his rookie season, gave the Dodgers the go-ahead home run with a 3-run blast in the 7th. Freddie once again went yard with a 2-run bomb in the same frame. And in the 9th, Shohei Ohtani hit his 45th home run of the season. I mean, a win is a win. Even though they needed so many home runs, every run except the first one was scored via a home run. And I mean, the Dodgers, they're once again leading. They're once again first in the NL West, but tied with the Padres. Overall this season, When they faced each other, Dodgers Padres, LA won 9 and San Diego won 4. So if the season ended right now, despite both teams having identical records of 74 and 57, it'd be the Dodgers getting the divisional crown. But there's still 31 games left, 5 weeks in the regular season, and the boys in blue, they need to earn it by simply either winning more games than San Diego or winning the same amount as them the rest of the way. Dodgers fans know that in games like these, the difference between first and second place can come down to one timely hit. And the Dodgers, they had to wait until late in the game, but fortunately, Freddie Freeman, Dalton Rushing, they got home runs, and they made it a little bit smoother of a drive from the 6-1-9 to the 2-1-3. And we need to find that spark now. We need to find it ASAP going into this final stretch, because if they keep playing like they did this past week, man, I already got a lot of white hair. I'm going to end up with everything white because these boys in blue, they're getting me so nervous and so impatient with the way that they're playing that, unfortunately for me, one win on Sunday doesn't help me forget what happened on Friday and Saturday. And unfortunately, if you go back to Monday through Sunday, 7 days total, the Dodgers won 3, lost 4. What was the common denominator in the 3 defeats? That the offense against the Rockies and the 2 losses at Coors Field, 3 runs scored in each game. In the losses against the Padres at Petco Park, 1 run scored in each game. And speaking about bats, coming up on Locked On Dodgers, what's going on with Will Smith? It's time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. This grape, ginger and lime flavored shot brings the iconic taste of a golf course favorite to a non-alcoholic boost. Perfect for sinking birdies or making great memories with friends. It's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Whether you're out on the course or just need a little extra push to power through your day, 5-Hour Energy Transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavor you love so much without ever leaving the green. My first time playing golf, I hit a birdie on the second hole without even knowing how to play. Then it went downhill from there, but man, a total fluke is one of my favorite memories playing the sport. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors. The grape ginger lime flavor of 5-Hour Energy Transfusion gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without leaving the course or chasing down the bev cart. Now you can amp up the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 to any golf tournament in the USA. Tee up that trip. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Masters tournament. Ends October 31st, 2025. I have an important request for you. Locked On Dodgers wants to hear from you. We've put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and make your favorite podcasts even better. This is your chance to tell us what you like, what you don't, and answer questions about our advertising. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey to get started. Everyone who completes a survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Again, that's lockedonpodcast.com/survey. The link right there that you see on your screen. You can also find it on the show notes. Thank you so much for helping us out. Let's keep it rolling here on Locked On Dodgers, because what's going on with starting catcher Will Smith? He's producing at a Michael Conforto level in the month of August. 9 hits in 57 at-bats. That's a batting average of 158. His on-base percentage is .304. Slugging is down to .228. And he has only hit 1 home run this month. This is before he was batting .325 with 14 home runs and an on-base percentage of .424 and a slugging of .544 over 85 games between March and July. Dave Roberts, he has been giving him more rest because you know his role. It's demanding. It's one of those positions where, man, if you're out there every single day, your body's going to start to break down. But he had 3 days off from behind home plate this week. One of them was as a DH. But the other two, he was off. One of them against the Rockies, and then Sunday against the San Diego Padres, which honestly, for me, it caught me off guard. I wasn't thinking that Dave Roberts would do that when the team is going against your opponent that you're fighting for, the division lead in the NL West, but Dave Roberts decided to do it, and at the end of the day, it ended up working with Dalton Rushing hitting the go-ahead home run against the Padres. But let's be honest, nobody was expecting Dalton Rushing to end up having that big moment and delivering for the boys in blue, which, by the way, I'll also say not much of his fault when he's receiving very little opportunities, no consistency of you're going to be playing 3 times a week, 4 times a week. He gets 2 games at most, 3 if he is lucky. And when you're a rookie, when you're not receiving opportunities, when you're a guy coming off the bench simply to give rest to the starting catcher, you're not going to be able to show up and perform the way that you would like to, like Dalton Rushing was doing when he was in AAA, when he was the starter for OKC, the OKC Comets in the minor leagues. When you're out there every single day, you get hot. You feel yourself. You know that you're going to be getting at least 3 at-bats every single night. Dalton Rushing, he's been pinch hitting here and there. He's been getting spot starts 2 a week at most. And look at that. He delivered, but at the same time, Will Smith, I mean, he was the most consistent batter for the Dodgers from when they started the season over there in Asia all the way until the month of July, which was a very difficult month for the Dodgers when you had Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman struggling mightily. You knew that you could trust Will Smith to deliver where other players were slacking. But now that we've gotten Mookie Betts back to Mookie Betts form, when you've gotten Freddie Freeman doing a little bit better, Shohei Ohtani, you know that the good comes with the bad, that he's going to end up hitting more than 50 home runs for the 2nd season in a row with the Dodgers, but at the same time, he's going to be striking out over 100 times again for the boys in blue, but he ends up getting home runs. He had 1 in garbage time against the Rockies, 1 in garbage time against the Padres. This one, I'll say, the game was out of reach already for San Diego. He hit a home run, 8-2, cool, up to 45, tied for the NL lead again with Kyle Schwarber, but he's going to deliver at big moments as well. He's done it this season. He's done it. He's going to do it again. But Will Smith, he was fighting for first place in the batting average. He was trying to get that batting title for a player with the Dodgers, but now with the way that he's struggled in the month of August, he's jumping out of that competition. His batting average is now dipped under 300 when for most of the season it was over 320. When most of the season, he was the guy that you wanted in big moments because his average with runners in scoring position, you know that he's a fella that's going to deliver, that you want to have at bat at crucial moments. But now, in the month of August, that hasn't been the case, and you really need him. You look at the MVPs at the top of the lineup, Shohei Ohtani, Marcus Lim Betts, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman. Those 3 guys, that's great having them up there. But then you need your Will Smiths of the world, your Teoscar Hernandez's of the world, your Max Muncy's right there following up after the MVPs to then have less of a dip from that part of the lineup to the next, and then your last 3 guys in the lineup. Imagine Andy Pages. He was hitting cleanup not long ago for a couple of games. He hasn't been playing well since the All-Star break. It's better to have him over there in the 7th spot instead of having him up in the 5, in the 6th spot. But that only happens when you have all these guys I just mentioned. Shohei, Betts, Freeman, Will Smith, Teoscar Hernandez, Max Muncy, who hopefully is going to be back soon with the Dodgers instead of having to rely on other players to go up and cover third base. Look at these stats. You go over to how he has played in the month of August, Will Smith. 19 strikeouts and 57 at-bats. That means he's striking out almost 1 every 3 at-bats. He has almost 2 strikeouts for every walk that he is drawing. Go to the first months of the season, March through July. 64 strikeouts in 283 at-bats. That was nearly striking out 1 every 5 at-bats. 1 every 5 at-bats. And then he also had 49 walks. So 64 strikeouts, 49 walks. that meant that it was 1.3 strikeouts for every walk. So you were closer to 1-to-1 ratio when it came to hits and walks than where he is right now. Two strikeouts for every walk. That ratio is a little bit too high for a guy that we know that can deliver for the Dodgers, that can get on base, both with hits and with walks, but now he's chasing too much. He's trying to go out of his way to get out of the slump, and you understand that. He's a player that has been having his best season in his career, his best year as a professional baseball player. And now that he's struggling, now that he's slumping, he wants to get out of that. But at the same time, if you are doing that, and then other players are trying to do the same thing of, okay, let me just hit a home run to get in a better spot, that's how you end up scoring only 3 runs twice in Colorado last week. Or that's how you end up scoring only 1 run in 2 games in San Diego over the weekend. And those games end up being defeats. You switch one of those losses for a win, and the Dodgers wouldn't be in the position that they are right now, tied with the San Diego Padres at the top of the National League West. But Will Smith, it's crucial. It's fundamental for the Dodgers over the next 5 weeks for him to get it back straight. I don't know if it's something that he needs to talk over with a batting coach, with Dave Roberts, with a former teammate. Call Austin Barnes, call AJ Ellis, call somebody. We need him to help out this guy. Maybe AJ Ellis and Austin Barnes aren't great examples when it comes to hitting, but maybe just the mental part of the game. You are the guys that were here before I was here. What would you do when you were slumping up at the plate? Help me out. That's what Will Smith needs right now, because if you slump for 3-4 games a week, 2 weeks, it's baseball. Every single player is going to end up having a bad week, 2 weeks. When you're up there for a month, and hopefully it doesn't stretch out more, that's when it becomes something that worries people. And Will Smith, we need him to start playing at the level that he was for a great majority of the 2025 campaign. Next on Locked On Dodgers, as if the pressure of only 5 weeks remaining in the regular season wasn't enough, the Dodgers don't get an easy break with a 3-game series against a tough opponent starting tonight.
August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches, right? For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week 1 even kicks off, this could be your moment. Maybe you're thinking about, you know what? I just know who's getting ready to have a big, huge, enormous year. MVP odds, right? How about Josh Allen going back-to-back? Really, really like that one. Maybe you're thinking you know who's going to win the Super Bowl all over again. Yes, I host Locked On Rams. Don't call me a homer, but don't look too far other than right down the road here in Los Angeles. Or you could parlay your division winners into dark horse payers, right? So visit the FanDuel app today and start paying or planning your futures right now, because Futures Day is only one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game.
Thanks for making us your first listen wherever you may be tuning in, either on your favorite podcast app or our YouTube channel. Smash that notification bell so you never miss a beat. Full episodes, hot takes, breaking Dodgers news, and the Dodgers postcast show with Pete Fox live after the final out of every single game. If it drops, you're on it. That's how you come in every day you're here on Locked On Dodgers. It's a brand new 31-game season for the boys in blue. They're not going to end with the best record in the National League. That's going to be surely the Milwaukee Brewers, unless they suffer a collapse in the final month of the regular season. But right now, Los Angeles, what they need to focus in is simply winning more games than the Padres between today and the end of the regular season on September 28th. Look at the stats. In the month of July, the Dodgers won 10 games, they lost 14. In August, they won 11, they lost 11 so far. Since the 4th of July, though, 18-25. Sub 500 baseball is what the Dodgers are playing at the moment over the last 2 months. and you look at the schedule for the boys in blue, you can say it favors them a little bit more than the San Diego Padres. The Dodgers, they have 10 series left, 3 against teams with a winning record, 9 games. Cincinnati, Philadelphia, Seattle. 6 of those games are at home, 3 are on the road. 7 series against teams with a losing record, a total of 22 games, 10 at home and 12 away. Compared to the Padres, a team that the Dodgers are competing with, the Padres, 4 series against teams with a winning record, 12 games. Seattle, Cincinnati, the Mets, and Milwaukee split 6 home, 6 away. 6 series against teams with losing record, 19 games, 10 at home, 9 away. I feel that this favors the Dodgers, but I mean, that's what I thought last week when they were playing the Colorado Rockies. That's what I thought 2 weeks ago when they were playing the Anaheim Angels, and they lost 3 against the Angels. They lost 2 against the Rockies. If you win at least 1 or 2 of those games against teams with losing records, you don't get swept against the Angels. You win the series against the Rockies, but woulda, coulda, shoulda is what I'm talking about right now. The reality is, if you simply go off records, the Dodgers have a less difficult schedule than the San Diego Padres. But it's all about what can you do right now. And right now, tonight, Monday night, what I need is for the Dodgers to start off this series against the Reds on the right foot. The Reds, a team that has been very competitive, a team that right now is knocking the door, trying to get inside a wild card spot. Look at this. Mets, 69 wins, 61 losses. They currently have the last wild card spot in their possession. But the Reds, 68 and 63. They're a game and a half behind New York, trying to get into that final playoff spot. The Reds, they've been irregular, pretty much like the Dodgers, doing good against good teams, bad against bad teams, back and forth. But one thing is certain, they still haven't been swept all season long. So it's going to be very hard winning 3 in a row against this Cincinnati team. Philadelphia, they've been red hot in the second half of the regular season. The Reds beat the Phillies 2 out of 3 times just from August 11th through the 13th, 2 weeks ago. Then against the Brewers, they lost 1 in extra innings, they won 1 in extra innings, and the other defeat 10-8. So they played very competitive against the best team in the National League. They won 2 out of 3 against the Angels and Anaheim, and then they salvaged the last game of the series against the Diamondbacks to still maintain their record as the only team that hasn't been swept in the regular season. And man, we're going into the final month of the year. That is crazy when it comes to baseball. Now, Dodgers, Reds. Look at the starting pitching matchups that we have today and in the future games. Emmett Sheehan versus Hunter Green. Green, LA native, who just returned from the IL 2 weeks ago, but he hasn't missed a beat. 12 in the third innings pitched, 9 hits allowed, 3 runs, 18 strikeouts. This will be his 3rd time pitching at Dodger Stadium, where he's still looking for his first win at Blue Heaven on Earth. But even though he has only allowed 2 runs in each of his previous 2 appearances at Chavez Ravine, he has been very good. Unfortunately, those Reds teams haven't been able to help him out to get a win in his hometown. If you look at that matchup, Sheehan versus Green, I feel that the Reds have an advantage right there. Tuesday, it's Nick Martinez versus Clayton Kershaw, who has been one of the best pitchers in the big leagues this month. He has been red hot in August, giving quality start after quality start. He was an out away from having another quality start in the month of August against the Rockies. The Dodgers ended up winning that game, and I feel it might be the same situation. The Dodgers are going to need a big performance from Clayton Kershaw in this game to be in the win column and to have the opportunity to win the series on Wednesday when Shohei Ohtani is on the bump, hoping he gets back into his usual form after a rough outing last week against the Rockies. So this Reds team, it's going to be a difficult challenge for the Dodgers, who are back at Chavez Ravine, but they're still in this stretch of games where they have 13 games in a 13-day stretch, no rest, and I have a feeling that Dave Roberts might do what he did over the last week, giving a couple of guys at the top of the lineup a day off, not Shohei Ohtani, but maybe Freddie Freeman here, Mookie Betts there, Teoscar Hernandez, and figure something out as the Dodgers start getting other players back. Tanner Scott, Kirby Yates, they pitched on Sunday for the Dodgers, the first chance that they had of going out there with the lead after they were trailing late in the game on Friday. Late in the game on Saturday, they were down. They weren't going to send the high leverage relievers. Tanner Scott was activated on Friday. You had Kirby Yates being activated over the weekend as well, and they both pitched scoreless innings on Sunday, and I feel that was a great situation for even Blake Trinan, who got into that game. They had a big lead. They weren't going to be playing with pressure. They're coming back from the injured list. Let them go with no pressure to deliver, and they did for the Dodgers. Now, the Dodgers are going to get back in this series against the Reds. Kike Hernandez, who has been doing a good job with the OKC Comets in the AAA level, and with that, you ask yourself, do you prefer Kike Hernandez over some of the options that the Dodgers have been playing as of late? I feel that the answer is yes, and potentially even looking at that situation at left field. Michael Conforto, he has been struggling. Unfortunately, he got a walk on Sunday, but man, you're a big leaguer. You're getting paid nearly $20 million a year. My man, you need to be hitting the baseball, getting singles, doubles, triples, home runs, something. Not just be your best weapon on this team when you don't swing the bat and get hits, which by the way, when you don't swing but get walks, I love it, but that can't be your only weapon when you're up there, and unfortunately that seems to be the case for Michael Conforto. But it's good that Kike Hernandez is coming back. Max Muncy's going to go on a rehab assignment. Hopefully he comes back soon, and September is right around the corner. In less than a week, we're going to be in the final month of the regular season, and with it, Tommy Edman can become a possibility as well for the Dodgers. Ha-Seong Kim, I'm pretty sure he's going to be back towards the end of this week. So the healthier the Dodgers are, the better that lineup is going to look and hopefully produce as well. Well, that'll do it for today's show. Thank you so much for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen. If you're still craving more baseball talk, have the all-new Locked On MLB Game Nights be your second listen. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find it on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. And also, catch Pete Fox after every Dodgers game on our YouTube channel with his live postcast. I'll be back on Tuesday to talk the Dodgers kicking off their 6-game homestand with a 3-game series against the Reds at the same time the Padres visit Seattle. LA, San Diego, and the Mariners trying to win their division, and the Reds going for that final wildcard spot in the NL. All contenders, all playing for something big. Should be a fun couple of next days, and I'll be talking all about it here on Locked On Dodgers. I appreciate you riding with me. Until next time, keep it real. Keep it Dodger Blue.